we're here. Oh my gosh.
Nani.
Wawa. Hello, everyone. Hi, Kahasuhi.
Hi, MA AKE.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this moment.
Yeah. We first talked about this a year ago.
Yeah, it must have been around a year ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's here. We jumped to the opportunity, and I'm so happy.
Yeah. Everyone, thank you for being here. We already have 32, 33 people.
Wow.
And just on YouTube.
Beautiful.
Just on YouTube.
Yeah, because we're just live on YouTube, eh?
Yeah. We're not going to do any of the extra stuff. Keep it simple for us.
Mm-hmm.
How's everybody doing out there? We have Kahioku, one of our new Hunas, Mani Nako, hi Connie from the Great Lakes, Kawamanato, Inspirational Heights. I don't think this one is a Huna yet. There's Cat. Oh yeah, that's one of the long ones. Kata Makutu Wakoha. She's one of our Koha Hunas. Mahariwa Ata. There's the Elven Kingdom.
Yes, hello. Love, sending love to Mexico.
I'm blanking on the Huna. Contrary to popular belief, I don't have all of this committed to memory.
I know Maroyata.
Maroyata Maekuta. Yeah.
Maekuta.
There's Matopere, Hirimata. Welcome.
Hirimata,
the spicy pepper camps. Himanuwa. Greetings from
Jane,
the UK.
in Denmark.
And then we have Tawaho.
And Eileen in Sweden.
Yes.
Ina.
And Jane's a Jane's a Huna.
She is a Huna, yes.
So
beautiful.
And
so beautiful.
Wow. Now we're almost 40.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right. So before we get started, I'm going to do some housekeeping things. We do have some rules here at HOH TV. Stay on topic in the comments, please. I know the energies get really exciting and there's lots of opportunity to write big messages with lots of words. Just keep it on topic, please, or you will be put on timeout. Don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I will. I don't want to. So please don't do that. We will do questions and answers a little bit later in the show. Also, short questions. We're not going to do any huge card readings or anything with the question and answers with Huna Kahasuhi. We're going to be very respectful of her as well.
But I will draw cards if you come online and ask a question. Still, it's the same that you're used to in this channel. To get an answer to your question, you got to pop in and show your face.
So we will share that link later. We'll do a little mid-show break at some point, and we'll do that at that moment. What else was there? For now, I think that's it. There's other stuff that I'll share after the break of other things that we have going on with House of Huna. There's a lot of changes that are going on. There's another show confirmed. Don't have a title yet, but we're confirmed on the date of the other new show that's being added to the lineup. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just elaborate a little bit more on what this show is going to be about each month.
Yeah.
So basically what we're going to do is we will have a look into the upcoming energies for the month that is about to start. So we will always look at this at the Sunday and the last Sunday of each month for the upcoming month. And this is so beautiful because both of us, Huna Tamaaki and I, we both work in the realms of, reading energies, looking at things and looking at the energies that are about to come. And so coming together and doing this together is really incredible because we both use different tools that still work very, very well together, and that we also in a way developed like simultaneously. So we've always been working a lot together, bounced off of each other with during the time of where this was developed. And actually I wanted to share something with you, Tamaki. I don't know if you remember this moment, but today while I was preparing for the show, I thought about something that happened like during the first days of where we met, where I had a call with another Huna from the Netherlands. I remember, and I introduced you to her, and she already predicted right there and then that she said something to me along the lines, yeah, you gotta get to know her better. You girls will be working very closely together. So I thought about this again today. And I mean, we've always worked close together, but this is now, an adventure that just you and I embark on. And I'm very excited.
Yeah. Was this the same Huna that said I needed to show my feathers off more?
Yes.
As I sit here in black feathers.
Yes.
And for me, when the consciousness started really amping up for me, it was still very early. And we know what that's like in the early stage, or at least many of us here know what that's like in the early stage, where you get it, but you don't really have the words to say. And a friend of mine kept saying that I should do a podcast. And I'm like, well, this isn't the appropriate time. And he keeps using the word should. I'm like, I could. I'm trying to invite him to change the languaging, and he kept like, and I don't like when people tell me what I need to do. It's like, no, don't do that. That's not how I roll. I'm going to do what I want when I want to, when it's the right time. But it's come up repeatedly, and even Takuhara at some point, I think it said the same thing. You do really do a podcast. Yeah. And now, we had the conversation a year ago, and it's just a matter of when is the right moment. And for the longest time, I didn't know what the hell I would even talk about. But this is what we're talking about. This is what we already do together behind the scenes, but just sharing it here now.
Yeah, because I mean, we talk about the things, and we talk about what we share with each other, what we've had coming up in the readings, or what we've picked up on. And now we're doing this open, which is exciting, and it's beautiful that we're now sharing this with the people more. And also on the timing, it's just it just feels all right, and I'm so glad that we jumped to the opportunity and that we made it happen in such a short moment. But congratulations to us that we actually did. And also great thank you for all of the work and the graphics and all of that which you put in. Yes, and I would say maybe we just jump right in.
Yeah, so this format, with this being the first show, we don't have previous conversation because this is the first show. So we're going to start off with, we look at the geometries and what is the crystal foundation for the month of November. And there's specific days that I use. There's a lot that I won't dive into because it's a little like, might go over your head. It's just how it is. I'll try to keep it a little bit more simple by just showing the really pretty geometries and talking about the energies that come through and what I see with them. And I will also share just little bits that I have in the download, because I have these available as print-friendly downloads. They're not like beautiful purple graphics or anything like that. It's just, black ink. It's not going to wipe the color ink out of your printer. The messages that I've received with the codes to use. So there might be some, opportunities to play with ceremony at certain points in the month on certain days. And I have certain Lemurian codes that came through that I have on there that you can go work with, and you can burn the geometries. You can burn the paper if you want to. You could do whatever you want after you print them. So there's a lot of opportunity there. So let me get this. And usually I show this one over over here, ahead of time, what all this looks like, but I'm not doing that today. This is the first time that she's seeing these.
That's true.
Yes. So we're going to change it up. And then what happens after I finish sharing? This one, here, I'm pointing where I see it on my screen. She's going to do live oracle cards to see what's coming through for her. So this is all live. This is the first time we're doing it in this way.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen. Woo! I think we have some new people. Kia ora Moira. And we have Mahakanimai. Mahakanimai. Yes, Mahakanimai. Welcome.
Wow, Anui.
All right, so this is the month of November. The really big message is inner transformation. That's the over.
Sorry, do we have some geometries there that we are already familiar with? The one from the 23rd kind of seems.
Yeah, I think that one is there. There's a couple repeats. Sometimes they're flipped upside down. Like actually, the 11th, we've had it completely flipped the other way, but it's the same structure. So that does happen sometimes. But for all of these, I think the 23rd is a repeat. The 28th definitely, and that one was named back during the Lion's Gate.
What is the name again? It's Beyond the Exit.
Beyond the Exit, yeah. Yeah. And then the 11th has a name. Huna named these a while ago. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit here in a minute, but the big energy, the message that comes through is inner transformation. That's the theme for the whole month. And it's the inner transformation of the inner child. So you can imagine with that, the inner child, what that actually does for somebody when they go through that transformation. Really, really big. Okay. So we have the child, almost like the planet Pluto, holding it like this. But we don't call it Pluto. It's Kata'au, which gets into the law of medicine of do no harm, not the hypocritical, where sometimes there's harm that is brought. Just don't hurt people. And in this moment, you're being told to prepare for this. And it's a major inner shift. And there are, in the download, which will be available on my website by the end of the show, I do have the codes on there to play with of what to work with in the Lemurian codes. Yeah. So that's like looking at this one in particular. That's where that message comes through.
You know what? That's actually the geometry for the day where it's going to be is it the 3rd? Yeah, my 3rd anniversary of my seal. I got sealed on the 1st of November. 3 years.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. So that message particularly enters already on the first day. That's what you're sharing.
Yeah. And in those downloads, there is a page where the 12 points are labeled of where do the motu sit. So like I don't show them here because it's art. I don't need to add that and make it even more visually confusing. Normally, with those 12 points, somewhere throughout these days that I look at, the motu will be somewhere up here.
Mm.
So Kahuku, which is the month of November, the butterfly. Happy November birthday coming up to all of the butterfly babies out there.
Mm.
Not backstabbing scorpions. Normally we see it up here at some point. Maybe not through the whole month, but at least we would see it at some point on one of these days.
Mm.
At no point throughout this month does the Kahuku go past this point.
So you mean lower, or
Yeah,
or further up?
it's literally in the trunk.
Mm.
It's more within the body. So that's where the inner transformation message is coming from.
Mm.
I would think at least with one day, it would rise to the top of the totem pole or at the top of the geometry. But no, sometimes it's here in what we call Tengita, which is the needle, which most would know as the throat chakra, but we call it the needle, the Tengita. But other than that, it's down here. It's inside the trunk. So again, that imagining when someone's inner child goes through that transformation, how like that comes through in the outer expression, and that's what's happening.
Mm.
And without getting into specifics, at a conversation with a Huna yesterday, but something happened in the personal life that was confirming already. It's not even November and it's already happening.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I oftentimes feel with these things when we look into the energies. There are, not everyone is processing the energies or picking up on the energies at the same moment, which doesn't mean that you are not in alignment, but I feel it has to do with our medicine or with our light. And there are some that are picking up on things, that are going through things ahead of the collective. Let's say there are some that kind of create that arrowhead to open up that energetic portal, let's say.
Yeah.
And then there are some that actually are in the dragon's tail, and that go through things always in the feeling of, well, you already went through that. You all already went through that. I'm only going through it now, but it doesn't mean a bad thing or anything.
Yeah.
And this is interesting that you're bringing it up, because it also reveals that this whole feeling of us, or what we are used to say, okay, this is where the new month starts. Everything is more fluid and more intertwined with each other than we sometimes think. And for some, maybe a moment already, or the new energy already enters earlier than for others. At least that's what I've been observing with my readings as well.
Yeah. And something that I want to put out there, this November 1st, this is New Zealand time. Everything that I do with setting these up is based off of New Zealand's time zone. New Zealand, or Tanimaro, being the first light zone on the planet. So that means for us here on the other side of the planet, or however you perceive what this planet looks like, this is Halloween when this energy is hitting. And it was really funny. I don't know if you saw what I sent you earlier about today. I think today's International Black Cat Day. And also they're celebrating Dia de los Muertos. And apparently today is the day where they celebrate the pets who have passed on, and the spirits of the pets are supposed to come back on the 27th to visit their families or something. It's very, very interesting stuff. Now, this point here, what we call the return, if you know how energy works, it's constantly moving. Goes back to the creator, comes back from the creator, goes to the creator, comes back from the creator. The return is when it goes to the creator. So it's like we have an opportunity to gift instead of just always receiving. And in this time frame happens to be a particular moment. I'll call it a special selection dance in America. On the 5th of it's Tuesday next week, the special selection dance of the yeah. I won't say anything else. The message that I was given was Uno, easy win.
Say that again.
Uno. So it's a card game.
Uno. Oh, okay.
And what I do is a fun way, at least for me to do it, is I take my pendulum that I'm connected to the energy and I let it type out on my keyboard the words. That's how the Uno came through. Easy win. And they said easy win. Those were the words I was given.
You know what I just have to think about? I don't know if you've noticed it or if you play cards a lot, but when the last time I played Uno, it's actually not that long ago. I was meeting a friend in a park and we were hanging out with some other friends of her and they had Uno with them, but not the usual Uno that you're used to, because there's actually a new edition of Uno out there, which is called Uno Flip. So both sides of the cards are printed, and there is a moment in the game, there's like additional cards, and there is this moment where you would just flip your whole hand, which is a total game changer. It's really, really funny. It's really interesting, and it elevates the strategy and the whole game into a whole different thing. That just came to my mind in terms of this whole flip energy.
Maybe that's what the Uno message was trying to get at, because I didn't tell you about that till just now.
No, you didn't. And it's funny because I remember that, was it when we were in Canada? Or was it in Mexico? No, it must have been in Canada. Or maybe I saw it at Mega in Mexico. I saw the game somewhere around the time of our travels. And I was like, oh, it even already is here, because for me, it was a totally new thing. And I sat there and I hadn't played Uno in like, I don't know how many years, because, it's not really, for me, it's like, it's a very easy game. So, but that was totally different. And it was so interesting because I sat there and I was about to lose. And I knew, okay, if I would play this card now, I would make the others flip, which would mean they couldn't win, which made me outlast the whole game way longer. So it's really, really interesting how the dynamic of that new rule shifts the whole game.
Yeah. And I still could not comprehend why they gave me the word Uno. And I think maybe it's what you are just now sharing, because I didn't know about any of this. I haven't played Uno in forever.
And then also, if we look at the codes, like the codes on itself, if we look at un-o, I mean, we are familiar with which is part of the Dragon Rider codes, or what we also call the undoing codes. And it's speaking to the root, like the basic, the basis of the whole Kaha structure. And the energy of the O. I mean, this is something I haven't shared this, but I feel like I now need to share it because it's still, in the way that I've now started working with the codes, there's information that's still like very fresh and new. And I'm still looking at having it all confirmed in the way that it's coming through before sharing it like fully. But with the O, I feel like I'm invited to share that right now, because what I've noticed when sitting with the single letters, for example, the vowels of the codes, I would speak them, I would sing them, I would tune into my body and feel how does it feel. And for me, the O is, if you chant it or if you speak it, it is an energy that is opening up. So it's almost like the speaking and sharing to an opening of the root, or an opening or a deepening there. No, it's not a deepening, it's an opening, which is beautiful, which shares that nutrition, or that there's maybe nutrition that's going to come in. But what's also interesting, if you have, like, for example, the O, and if you say it several times, like if you say it double, if you say O, it is a totally different thing, and there you can see that with these energies and with these codes, sometimes, there's another aspect also coming in. And the O is for me almost like, it's almost like this feeling of feeling a little bit scared, or feeling danger. But for me, it's more also a feeling of a surprise, or an energy of where we're like, oh, it's like just this opening up, And so what I feel there is that, with what you've shared before, with the inner transformation of with the transformation of the child within, like inside that deep transformation, I feel it is connected with that code, or there's something that's coming through from the root. Because if we look at or if we look at that basis, that's where everything comes from. That's what we all have. That's what everything, where everything already exists. So in a way, it almost feels like maybe that the child is remembering that, and that the child is growing back its roots, or opening up the roots. Or it's almost like I just get the picture of having like roots that are almost that haven't sprouted for a long time. And now they're going to start sprouting again. They're going to expand. The roots are going to expand. That's the feeling of opening. How would an opening of the roots look like? For me, it's like, okay.
The roots are going to go far and fast.
Yeah, it's almost that feeling. Yeah.
What also came through in this time frame is, and again, I think this piece I'm sharing with you for the first time, that there are many prepared and waiting to take the quantum leap. It's not necessarily human souls, but the number is over 300 billion, which was independently confirmed by Mahariwa Atta from a conversation I had with her the other day.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, we were talking about the 22 billion souls, like how did it get to that? And my response was, well, the 22 billion souls was the what's the word that we used?
Dress rehearsal?
It was the dress rehearsal. It was the practice to set up for something like 333 billion souls, or whatever that number is. Yeah. So big shifts. There's always big shifts going on. But these, there's always a particular flavor with each one. Let's see if there was anything else. There is information about Koha being requested by Turtle Island. I do have all of that information, like little ceremonial pieces in that download of the codes to work with, the Koha that's being requested. It has to do with metal and metal wires, not necessarily copper, but just metal wires. And make something out of it. Make a little gift to go gift to the water. It doesn't matter where you are on the planet. But Turtle Island, and this is also when the special selection dance is happening. There's opportunity for you to do the gifting.
I mean, even though
all the time,
even the wires remind me of roots. It almost feels like a reminder of, or a gifting to the roots, or a gifting of some nourishment that the roots need to open up. And of course, the root system, and we know that that's our great that's our great network of communication worldwide. We don't need this World Wide Web. I mean, we always had a World Wide Web.
Yeah. Yeah. Within these particular codes, there was another call out of kata'au, of speaking to the planet known as Pluto. But since you know the code, since we've shared it here, you can literally find it in your night sky if you want to. Be like, hey, I remember you. You're kata'au. You do this with any of the codes that you happen to have of the planets or whatever. I remember you. You're kata'au. That is your innocence. That is your undistorted frequency. Not the hypocritic oath. Hypocritic oath. I'm going to call it the Hippocratic oath now. That's why they call it. I think that's why they call it the Hippocratic. If I'm being honest, but that's what the child is bringing forward. It's a focus on the kata'au of the Pluto, of what is it really, and undo the harm, which there's been a lot done, especially within the recent years and everything that's been revealed. There is on the 13th here, there's some work on the jaws with the yayo. So there's information about that in the download of working with rose water. And let the Fae guide you. The Fae jumped in. The fairy realm. I'm gonna write it here. Kata'au equals Pluto. There we go. Yes, and yes, the mycelium network with the roots. That's something.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, we're very.
I mean, it was confirmed in ceremony when we were at the Stargate 23. It was confirmed that the mycelium network is the golden fleece, and the golden fleece shares the laws of nature. And we are actually right now, are we? Yeah, we are still in the month of the Lamb.
Yes, tomorrow is the last day of the Lamb.
So
and the energy of the sweet potato starts coming in tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when you shared about the gift, creating something out of metal wire, it reminded me of the gift that I presented at the Stargate 23, which was something that my mom had gifted to me. She had knit something out of golden wire, like very thin golden wire, and there was like a little crystal in there. And I gifted that to the golden fleece because it looked like, oh, this is for the golden fleece. And it's interesting that all of this is coming up. Yeah. That was a year ago. Yes.
So for the later part of the month, the enter. So remember, we talked earlier about energy leaves, goes to the creator. This is where it comes back to you. This comes back into this realm, as it were. And in this, we have an alignment. I don't like the word conjunct because I think of conjunctivitis every time. But there's an alignment where the sun, which we call Wahi, is sitting on top of the MATARIKI, which everyone else knows as Pleiades, or most people know it as Pleiades. It's called MATARIKI by the Maori. It's called MATARIKI in the Lemurian. And it's sitting right on the sun. So when
but how do you mean that? How is the sun sitting on top of the Pleiades?
So it's the degree, because with all of the rotations that are going on, like the rotation of the sun is moving. I believe the sun is in between us and the MATARIKI, so that the sun is the connecting point. And that's happening, I want to say the 20th, 21st. I don't remember the exact date, but it's smack in the middle of these two.
Interesting.
What also came through, the dolphins and the whales came through for the latter part of the month. The Rehu, the star nation of the dolphins, which is known as Sirius B, the Star Nation of the Dolphins came in and said that they're going to bring that gift in. So whatever the energy is that's coming into us on the 18th to the 23rd is being carried by the dolphins.
Mm.
And again, here's this opportunity to go find them in the night sky and speak Rehu. You go find Sirius B. Say, Rehu, I remember you. Thank you for your koha. Thank you for your gift. And the same with the Matariki. You look at the Matariki in the night sky, wherever it is. Maybe it's not above you. Maybe it's on the other side of the pancake earth. You say, hey, well, why do a tapu? You say why do a tapu if you want to. Or you at least say, I remember you. You're called Matariki. You know, I was just thinking the other day, I'm really curious with all of the books that are channeled of the Pleiadians, how often they actually say, hey, by the way, we're called something else. Because they channel a lot of books. But I don't know how those particular beings are focused. I don't know how focused they are on getting that undistorted name out there to say, hey, this is what you know us as the Pleiades, but before
What
that,
what I feel with that is that from that end, they are very much aware, or I feel, you know, we need to be very much aware that we are on that journey. And I think they understand, yes, this is a journey of remembering. So they are, I feel they are, you know, way beyond judgment. So they don't really, for them, it's not, I feel, probably not such a big deal as it is for us right now here on planet Earth.
mm-hmm.
For us, this whole understanding of what is distorted and what is undistorted is way more important because we're actually physically here. But in the end, when you're probably not here, you have the larger view of how everything is still serving and interconnected, and how actually that what we call distorted light also serves its purpose, you know, and it serves until it doesn't serve anymore. And yes, even though we are sometimes stuck in holding on to a lesson that's already been learned, and we are repeating the same lesson, one could argue, okay, but if we're still repeating it, is it then really fully did we really fully receive the lesson then? You know, it's so I think for them it's just not a thing that they focus on. That's at least what I feel, or what I feel, sharing in those moments. Also, when it is about different dimensions and stuff, I think they just share what they need to share to each person in that moment.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. So on the topic of the dolphins and Sirius B, the Kahu are showing up for the 28th. The Kahu being the star nations of the whales, not a particular star nation, but the many star nations of the whales, which is known as Sirius A. And they're saying that they're going to take the ones who are ready to quantum leap, all of the children of those 333 billion. You know, some of them might be rocks, some of them might be drops of water, some of them might be tiny little ladybugs. They're ready to quantum leap. The Kahu, the many, and I see the 48 right here on my screen. The Kahu is prepared to carry the child or the children on their backs for that leap.
Beautiful.
And also within this moment, the one called Firo wants to be acknowledged. For those that are more familiar with the astrology, this is where Mercury is in the microwave again, where it's the illusion of going backwards. But the fetal just simply wants to be acknowledged in its forward moving momentum. Because yes, we know with the retrograde, it is the illusion of it going backwards. It's why it's called retrograde. And yes, there's there's themes and there are things that happen with those energy shifts. There is that undistorted side. That's a theme that's I'm seeing with some of these is they just want to be acknowledged in their original innocence. Just like Pluto with the Kata'au, as the fetal is saying, yes, I'm here, and I want to be acknowledged as a forward-moving energy, which that's something that I've talked with you about before. We're going to get down to decoding what is the sound, because we have retrograde. What is the Lemurian sound? Because it would be speaking to it actually being a forward momentum energy. So that's we've already discussed that before.
Yeah, I feel with that, we're still invited to really look at what the stars really want to communicate with that action, or with that. Yeah, what really wants to be shared in that moment where this where it seems like that they are doing one thing but they're actually doing another. I mean, it's just from our perspective that we see it that way. So there's still more to understand here, I feel.
Yeah.
Before the code can enter. One thing that I wanted to share with these geometries, which I think is very interesting, if we look at least that's what I'm feeling with them, apart from the first one. But even with that one, I feel it has almost like a flow of energy that is more focused upwards and more focusing up to the top part. We can definitely see that with the 4 geometries that follow up to the 18th. We can see that the energies are being like there's just this movement, I feel, and a focus on the upper movement. And then we have that shift happening, or a shift happening with the last 2 geometries, where you can see it's exactly doing the opposite. And it's interesting when you shared that that is where the sun and MATARIKI are in the same angle, or I'm not.
They're at the same. They're at the same degree.
Yeah,
so
at the same degree.
Yeah, like the sun is going right in the middle.
Yeah. So there's. It's just interesting. It's something that I've noticed even before you shared that, where just in the pattern of what we can see with the geometries, that there is this focus into upwards and then downwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is the end of my transmission.
Yeah, very beautiful. I mean, what I can also share from the get-go is I had done a reading. When was that? Like, I did a reading on my Instagram for the next upcoming 3 months. I think it must have been at the beginning of September. October. Somewhere in September. I did a reading for the next 3 months, just to see what is in general there. And what was really interesting was that the cards had shared that there's like this particular energy of a demand in the air. And it almost feels like that we're now with this deep transformation, like we're entering now this deep transformation. And for me, when you shared that, it almost felt like that was part of the demand that was being brought forward. And then you also shared, you always look at the time, and that you always look at the time from New Zealand. And I remembered that this was a demand that came from Tani Maro. So this could be the land, this could be the dragon energy, which is one and the same, basically. But it was interesting that was coming right with that new month of November, which is also, the second month of the fall season. So it's almost like saying, okay, now we got to look at this, because we had the 4 weeks to prepare. Now we're going in it, and then we're gonna integrate it and already prepare for the next thing. So it's very interesting. So I will see what the cards want to add to this, and we'll ask and invite the cards, the oracle, to share for the energies of the upcoming month.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to hop in here and see who else has joined us and greet them. Hirimata says, funny, my birthday is on the 18th. My brother is on the 23rd. So they're in that framework of the inter. It's hilarious. Let's see. What's a wahole? Hi, Brigitte. Tani Ure. Marari. Yes, Marari from
Marari.
Vancouver. It's good to see you. Oh, that's so pretty.
So what's interesting is, not interesting, but beautiful, actually. The first card that showed up here is the card which is called the Eternal Child.
So fun fact with the sound Matariki in the Maori tradition and in their language, they call their children Tamariki.
Tamariki.
Very close to the Matariki. They call their children Tamariki. All right, I'm done.
Interesting also with this card, you can see the two stars here, one on this side and one on this side. Just made me think about what you had shared about the two stars that are actually saying, okay, please take notice of me. Please remember me. That actually hold this invitation out there for us to notice them and to learn from them. Because what you can see here in the center is someone holding a clay ball and forming it. Yeah.
You can't make this shit up. Oh, wow. As I've said before, hilarity sometimes ensues.
Yeah, so for everyone, just to see, with my readings, I don't have one particular way of putting out a spread. It usually always is created in the moment, and I just place the cards where I intuitively feel that they want to go. It's not because I have a predetermined story on them or anything. It's just where they tell me that they want to go.
Nah.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Beautiful. So what I can see here, yes, it's all about what you've already shared. There's a lot of confirmation for what you've already shared in your reading. But what it also shares more is that, yes, again, we are making this journey and this huge transformation with our inner child, because there's still so much energy out there that is not being recognized. If we look at this card, we see the little hand of our inner child reaching out to us. Can you see it? Is it focused?
It's focused enough. You can see it says the orphan.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the little hand reaching out to us, and you can see that the dragon energy is actually very. It almost feels it's very calm. It's just there, kind of guarding this energy that is reaching out. It almost feels like this very innocent, very soft, very gentle energy that is trying to be recognized. And what I see here is also a synchronicity with these two cards. We have both here, we have hands reaching for something. And this is depicted by the rose. So there is us reaching for we are reaching out for the sweetness of life, or this is what we're trying to receive. It's almost like we're holding our hand out and we're so close to it. It's like right there. Still there is something that is demanded of us to do in order for us to reach it. The nectar energy has been very present already over the last weeks and over the last month, actually, in terms of its essence. And it feels like that for us, this transformation of the inner child and of really receiving our true self and the true innocence of ourselves, which you can see in this card. You know, if you look at this little hand reaching out, you can, for me at least, I can feel the innocence in that touch. If I would grab that hand of this little child, you know, I would feel the innocence itself. I would have the innocence itself in my hand. And what I feel here is the cards want to share to us, we are many that are working with our hands, that are reaching out with our hands physically, sharing here the energy of the Fayarico, which is the healer with the dirty hands, not speaking in terms of, you know, that it is dirty and you know, that there's anything wrong with that. No, it's just sharing that we are so, you know, I'm speaking to it in that way because Na, the code of Na, shows up where it shares we are many. So we are many that are trying, that are not trying. We are working very hard. We are constantly doing something to make it happen. We are constantly doing, molding, shaping, shifting things with our hands physically. And what I feel we are invited to deeper integrate is this energy, like the combination of these two. If we look at the clay ball, which is like we are forming something with our hands. And the awa is the frequency that shares, I don't know, I do not know, which shares the energy of the unknown. So we are invited to integrate and to come to peace with that aspect of that we are creating something, but we don't, you know, our mind, our human consciousness, our human mind doesn't really know what it is. The question is, do we have to? Like, do we have to know in order to create it? If we look at children and how they play, they play for the joy of it. They play for the pure joy of creating something. If they are in the sand pit, they just want to bake a sand cake. They just want to cook something. They just want to make something. Doesn't matter what, you know, where they end up at the end of the day. That's not what they're concerned with. So this is where I feel that we are truly invited to integrate this deeper. And I feel that there is, I mean, this card also shares the sustainer, right? It's an energy that is actually necessary for us to, I feel it is something that is necessary for us to truly sustain ourselves. And I feel there is a challenge here. There is a challenge with this card. I mean, this card I read very differently often, but in this case, I feel that it is sharing to us that we are sometimes we're getting distracted a lot. If we think about the tale of the sirens and how the sirens could with their song, that they would have a boat just get off course and get distracted, and they would in a way harvest whatever they wanted. You know, they would take the sailors or whatever. There's this tale of the sirens where they don't have the best intentions. Not saying that that is always the case, but we really have to look at our lives and we have to see, okay, which energies are, you know, in a way almost like these sirens, which are, you know, getting us off course, which are distracting us from our actual like innocent play. Sometimes that could be, you know, you're talking to someone, telling them about an idea that you had, and then this person is sharing an opinion with you and planting thoughts in your head, which is then actually distracting you from just continuing what you've been doing, you know? So this kind of energy, and I feel we're asked to make a leap of faith. You know, we have this threshold here, and we're, as a collective, we are at this, we are at a threshold, and we are invited to jump. We are invited to make that leap of faith that is shared by this code. Nu is a code that shares the energy of taking the first, the first attempt at flying. You know, it's literally the code of a leap of faith. If we would look at a little bird that is leaving the nest. And this is for the sake of us becoming whole. Hato is also sharing the code of holiness. I mean, holiness, what does it truly mean? It means we're whole. We are becoming one. We are becoming whole once more. Which is sharing this opportunity for us to really step deeper into that unity consciousness, which I feel the transformation of the inner child is also connected to. And we can only reach that nectar that we are all yearning for within that unity consciousness, within that full understanding of what that truly is. But don't get me wrong, I don't mean understanding in terms of the mind or the emotions even. I truly feel it is a thing of the clay that we are moving through right now. And if we look back, even though I don't really refer to the Bible a lot, but wasn't there the story of that, you know, our body is molded out of clay. So it's almost like we are reshaping our whole universe. We are reshaping and we are sustaining our whole universe. The sustainer, you know, we are invited to really tend to this, because it is way more connected to the inner child than we actually think. You know, if you look at what children do, you know, they are very much physical. They are not so much mental. Yes, they are emotional, but for me, emotion is almost an expression of what is transpiring between the mental realm and the body. And the emotions are almost an expression of that relation that we have there. At least that's a thought that came through my mind in the last weeks. So it's interesting that it's coming up. I feel like I want to take another quick look at this this part, because I know that this is mostly where the challenge is, because I feel this leap of faith, or taking the leap of faith, is an easy thing once we overcome our doubts, our distractions, and once we can see these things clearer, it's probably way easier to walk to the other side. Does that make sense? It's like it's not very, very easy for me to put these things into words. Just had to double check which cards I'm pulling. So I'm right now looking at the kaha. Kaha is what we speak to as the chakra system or the human energy system. And yet again, it's confirming something that you had already shared a bit, which is something about the energies of the threading, the needle.
Yes.
I think it came up today. And more of that. Okay. Beautiful. It's interesting because we see these two symbols and sounds are connected to the masculine side or the masculine aspect of our energy, and we can see already the colors that we have here with the cards as well. There is a synchronicity here, and I feel that, yeah, with this we can see this is a symbol and a code of the essence of the child. And with this, we can already see that there is, for me, it feels like when we look at these symbols, we can see aspects of both symbols in here. We can see like the shape of the cube almost still somewhat present. I mean, at least I can imagine that. And then we have these lines that really come out here, where I feel this is almost where we can feel our energy shines. It's like I can just feel like a shine with this symbol. Yeah, what I feel is that we are invited to open our box. Literally, we are invited to open our box.
Our toy box?
Yeah, our toy box, but also our box in terms of our like unbox. It's really like, okay, it's unboxing day. It's like a month early unboxing day. In a way, we are invited to open our box. We are invited to open our throat. We are invited to open our way of speaking. Only by us consciously making that choice, new initiation and a different sound, a different vibration can come through. We have to make a conscious choice about how we speak and how we word things. And I really feel that this is a way where the child or the innocence wants to express itself. It wants to be expressed in that way. So this is an invitation for us to observe more our way of communicating, not only with words, also with actions, with our body, all together. But I feel that this that this is something that wants to be integrated, that wants to come. It's what I see here, and it's interesting. My throat is just right now making funny things. Wants to come in here. We can see there's a little triangle in this box, and it's almost like that this energy wants to enter here. And for it to enter, we need to open it up somehow, which is an invitation for expansion, which is also an invitation to open up for new energies without any expectations, without any attachments, but truly new, which means we don't know, we cannot know, we have no clue. And even I'm sitting here, you know, I don't have any clue what this is about, because I'm not supposed to. In order for us to play in the new, or yeah, to play, it's almost like we are bringing it on stage. We are bringing it, you know, we are bringing it through our play. And if we look at the world as a world stage, yeah, we are invited now for this, to let the script fall and to trust that we are capable of improvising, that we're capable of reacting. You know, it's truly an invitation also to trust deeper in our capacity and into our capability of being able to imagine whatever we want. And imagination, of course, is key to play and also creation, because in a way they are both in the same, you know.
So I had half a mind to go look at the placements of the motu in the geometries to see what is at the top, like what is the outer expression, the energy that's coming through. The kirihi is in most of them. So even throughout the month of November, the energy of the lamb, of the golden fleece, of that innocence and truth, is sometimes the single point at the top. And like the end of the month, so where we have the dolphins and the whales coming in with the Sirius A and Sirius B, like that's Kirihi is right there at the top.
So that's no surprise, because I was already wondering why am I feeling the kirihi so much when you were sharing about the wires and stuff. I just kept on having that gift and that moment in my mind, and I was already wondering, like, okay,
yeah,
and this is again sharing that, not, you know, even with the motus. That's something that came up also in the reading that I already did for this time, where I said sometimes a motu demands a larger time. And we already had the Namu energy being very big in terms of the space that it demanded in this light year. And yes, the lamb now is doing the same, which is an indicator that the innocence and the purity is really what is demanding attention and demanding integration. Because for me, Namu and Kirihi are both sharing that parts of that essence, with peace, with the essence of peace, and then also the Kirihi with the laws of nature, which is the laws of the child, actually, which is where we are returning to that remembrance, and to that remembrance of that innocence.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, on the day of the special selection dance, remember when I shared that Turtle Island Honumotu was requesting the gift of the wires? That the Hunu is at the top of that geometry. And the Kiri, it's leading the Kirihi. So Kirihi is right behind it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I just felt like I wanted to pull some cards for this side as well, in order for us to understand more about this leap of faith moment, because I feel there's truly a moment that is gonna arise. It's almost like, I mean, this can come in many shapes and forms for everyone, but it is definitely something that is happening, like at a particular day. And it's interesting that we have the I, which is energy that is standing for the month, representing the month of May, or which is also representing higher the higher parts of the third eye, Kaha, the third eye chakra. And then also the Ao, which is standing, representing the month of August, or also energies of the womb. And it's just interesting because I feel that these may be energies that are assisting with this. In terms of the color, I mean, this is also a code that comes from this, actually. So these are connected. You can see au and u, they are connected. And I feel that, yeah, we are truly in a way journeying back to the womb, but even deeper, because we're opening up the roots. And of course, the root and the womb, they are, in a way, they are creating one space where creation happens, and where that nutrition, that sacred nutrition is. And it's interesting that the I is showing up, which is basically at the opposite side, where not side. It's funny, I'm choosing funny words today. The different end of the spectrum, which is for me almost sharing this. Does it really end? Is there really a beginning and an end, or is it like a generator? You know, is it like sharing to us that maybe this whole initiation already comes from up here, and we are just reading it in that way because we are always going up and down the scale. And I also feel that maybe the motus of these months, which are the Toroa and the Fatura, so again, the bird tribe, I feel like that they may also have their hands in this, let's say, especially the Fatura with the purification aspect that it has in its energy. And of course, also the Toroa with the big wings. It's serving as a stabilizer. I feel, you know, it almost like shares stability in these times, saying like, okay, I'm gonna wrap you in my big wings, and don't worry, I'll get you there. This kind of energy I get, like, don't worry, I'll get you there. So it's interesting because the cards are not really revealing more information. They're just sharing to us, don't worry, you will know. You will know once the time is that you have to take that leap of faith, in a way. So the invitation is to play. The invitation is to make this journey, even though, yes, it is serious, but it's serious joy. You know, that's a term that Mauta Huna Flash often shares with us in times of mission or ceremony, when we come across things where we feel like, oh, this is exhausting.
Oh, God,
yes,
yeah.
it is serious joy, and we're invited to really remember this, you know. And if we really take a look at the children and take them as our teacher in the way of how they go about things, we can see, you know, play is very serious to them. It's like, don't mess with their play. It's like, no.
And don't do the thing wrong. You gotta, when they tell you to do the thing, you do that thing.
Yeah.
Put on that Mr. Potato Head costume because they said so.
Yes.
So something that I want to point out in talking to the Fatura, to the falcon, and also speaking to the energy of the challenge, which we refer to as Wero. It's part of the energy of Mars. For most of the month, the house of the falcon is empty. And when I look at that, then like looking at like the zodiac chart and looking at the actual Lemurian of it, it's like the falcon. Okay, nobody's visiting the falcon, so the falcon is out doing something.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And then at some point, Mars enters the house of the falcon, which is the partially the energy of the falcon, the Mars.
Yeah.
That it's the greater message of the face-to-face challenge of 11717, and then the dryer's doing its little fun song. You know, have fun with it. It might feel like it sucks.
Yeah, but it's also interesting that you're bringing up that face-to-face challenge, because in a way, yes, we are facing, we are facing our inner child. It is that challenge that is demanded from ourselves. So this is also the part that we are invited to remember, to don't be so hard on us, and to remember that we actually put ourselves out for this, and that the challenging aspect is necessary in order for us to grow. And it's also interesting because that demand that I mentioned, that energy of the demand, is literally, it's like the end of, it's like you no longer can wibble around it. It's like the demand is there, so either you face it. There's actually not really this feeling of a choice, which is weird because we are beings of free will. So we constantly make choices. This is how we create. But still, when it comes to this, it's almost like we created this for ourselves to bring us into this, to bring us into this corner almost, where we no longer have a choice. It's like that way. And there's
You made
no other.
this mess. You made this mess. You deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we feeling at a point where it's time to take a break and get into the Q&A, or is there anything else that's coming through that wants to jump out of that card deck?
No, I just have this one card here. I felt like I had to put it aside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to see. I feel it's for later, so I'm just gonna keep it here.
Okay.
And while we have a break, I'm just gonna clear this out and make the table clean for questions.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody can already think about if they want to have a question, or if they want to bring something.
Not long question.
Well, what?
Short question. Short question. Not long. Not long question. This is not time for a thesis. I did take a screenshot, by the way.
Oh, that's
of
good.
Your spread.
Beautiful.
So let me find the button for the promos, and we will be right back. I'm going to have some messages to share before we get into the Q&A. And yes, we will share the link to come onto the screen, because that's how we roll here. Mm-hmm. Come hang out with us. We don't bite. We're quite cool.
No, we just want to play.
Yes, we want to have fun. We want to see your beautiful faces. So we will be right back after these messages.
Beautiful.
We are back. So a few things that we could touch on before we share that link to do the Q&A. There is now a monthly Motu raffle to get a one-on-one with Huna Flash. And the Kirihi, the Kirihi raffle is still open until sometime tomorrow. The time code is on the link. All of the links are in the description of this video. Don't ask me what the time is for the end of that because I don't remember. It's on the website.
And you always saw that winner on the 28th, or when is it?
It's I think somewhere announced in the Maita. I don't remember what it says.
So 29th, 30th, 31st.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah. Okay. And then there is another Motu raffle that'll start in November. So to get a one-on-one with Huna Flash, he actually got to do his one-on-one with the raffle winner from the Burning Mask raffle. He got to do that last week. This wonderful gentleman, I think he's Ibu tribe. I don't know if he lived in Canada and now he works at a hospital in Ireland. He seems to be a wonderful gentleman. So yeah, he's doing that, the Motu raffle. There's intro courses that are now available again. They were once upon a time and now they're back. So anybody that wants to dip their toes before getting into the Dragon Masters, you want to start getting a little bit more into the methodologies, the tools, like the Kaha, the light year, all that stuff. The intro courses are on the HOH website. Again, link is in the description. In terms of the schedule, since everything is so different now, on November 10th is going to be the news show with Huna Kahiwaha from Vancouver.
Beautiful.
The title is so secret, I don't even know what it is. The topic is so secret, I don't even know what it is. But she's going to come on November 10th for her show. Same bat time, same bat channel. Huna will be on the 17th of November. And I plan on putting this up on the website too, of the actual schedule, because people are going to want to know when's Huna back, because they want to see Huna, and I don't blame them. But November 17th will be the next Huna Flash TV. November 27th is when this, because we're switched on the screen now, this one, and I will come back. We'll talk about what actually happened in November to open up and then get into what does the Okapi December bring. And I wrap this portion up by also saying our websites are in the description. They're not buried on the recommendations page. I actually have them right there at the beginning. So if you want to get an oracle card reading with Huna Kahasahi, her website is linked there. If you want to get your birth chart done, if you haven't already had that session with me, my link is there. The download of the geometries of November are up on my site now. So after this, you guys can go on there and there's a little bit of koha. You pop in there, you get the download to go play with that. That's available now. And the digital calendar for the Lemurian, because for those of you that don't know, this is about the halfway point of the year. So it's structured a little bit differently. I made a digital calendar to help facilitate that connection in the digital way. That's all on there, easy to access in the description of this video.
Beautiful.
Yes. Well, yeah, that is a good question. The raffle, we draw the names. That is an excellent question. The names will get drawn of anybody that goes in, and you can get, like, if you want to get 2 raffle tickets, if you want to. I think there's a quantity on there. I'm not sure. Whatever the case, everybody's name gets put into a basket, like a digital basket, and we click the button, and then it says, "Hey, here's the winner." Who else joined us? Ascend the Matter, welcome. Xavier is here. We have Huna Hatoni Rariur.
Yeah, that's Nico from Hamburg.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we have Leah from Huna, one of the Wakas from Florida. It's good to see you. I know things were looking a little dicey for you there. It's good to see you again. And Viru also from Vancouver, from Burning Mask. Welcome. So if anybody has a question for the Lemurian Oracle, since we have her live from Germany.
Just, yeah, I mean, not only for me, you can just come on and ask us a question, or if you have anything to share, if you have a comment on what just had been shared, that's invited, of course, as well. The link is just there. So come on.
Yeah. Come play. Kahioku, where are you? I know you're out there somewhere.
Yes, apart from that, I'm very happy that we did this. It's beautiful to see what what comes up and how things are being confirmed in the energies, and how the cards and the geometries are sharing their wisdom and gifting us with more knowledge about what we should, focus our energy on. So this is beautiful and interesting. Also, that lots of the things that came through were already like, I already took notice of that energy, that we are really invited to go into our gut and into our physical. I can share from my end with the whole journey that we did just now with Burning Mask and the 2 mass dragon rides and all of that. The integration of these events for me was very physical, meaning that it was just a feeling in my body that I was observing, and that I could notice that there was an energy presence in my body, an energy present in my body. And at some point, all of a sudden it shifted, and I could feel like, oh, all of a sudden I felt like, now I've landed here. And it was not mainly emotional or anything like that. It was really something different. And I felt like, oh, wow, this is again something that I'm observing, which is sharing new facets, new aspects of this whole energy work with me. It's really like a feeling of the bones or something. And in the time being where I feel I was integrating, I couldn't have noted, like my mind couldn't have said anything about it. It was especially when the shift happened, that I've noticed that there was actually something going on. The only thing that I observed was that before, I just needed a lot of rest. I felt like exhausted. I had a lot of headaches. I was like, what is going on? I usually don't have this when I'm, in Mexico, when I arrive there. Usually only takes me 1 or 2 days to acclimatize, is that the right word? Acclimatize?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, I have the same thing now as I'm back in Germany. I'm like waking up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, I didn't used to have like this jet lag thing, or, I usually don't have that. And now I'm like waking up in the middle of the night, being up for several hours, and then falling back asleep. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Or like you wake up at 4:30 in the morning, like, you know what? I wasn't prepared to be awake, so I'm going to be awake for a little bit. But then you start falling asleep again at 6, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Who wants to come and play with us?
Yeah, I would love to have somebody here. Come on, ask me a question. Or do you have a question?
Maybe we could kick it off with this. Because this is going to be a really hot topic for a hot minute of the special selection dance of the turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything, how do I want to word this? Because of course I can ask, is there anything that the cards want to share? But that might be a little bit broad, or maybe not. I don't know. How do I want to ask it? What should we expect from within the energies of that moment of the special selection dance of the turtle?
That's of course a hot topic, eh?
Yes, a very, very hot topic.
And Huna Hirimata just says, sounds like you need the light shaman, Kahasahi. What do you mean by that? Which light shaman?
Kahihoe? Kahihoe can come play with us wherever she is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could use a healing lagoon for sure.
Oh yeah. Mahakana Altea, come join us.
Didn't we just have a conversation about the elephant? What did you say about the elephant?
Oh, yeah, I was going into the biology of the bodies and talking about the elephant being a keystone species, because the nutrients, this is related to taro, not the cards, but the taro, the energy center, which is referring to the root vegetable taro, that this is where we get our nutrients from. It's not from the roots, it's from taro. And the elephant, with all of the food that it eats, doesn't retain most of the nutrients. It goes out through the poop. So it's doing a lot of fertilizing, and it's moving a lot of seeds, and it's moving earth to help channel water. Hey, Matatu! Waking up in the middle of the night made me think of Kahihoe commercials. That's what she meant. We need our light shaman.
Now I get it. That's a good one. The flute music, eh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, whoop.
Oh, Fairiko again. Getting our hands dirty for a good cause.
Feel this one.
Fee.
On what day is the election?
It is Tuesday. It's the 5th, which is the energy of the return. That's where we're hitting that in New Zealand.
It's still interesting. I mean, we have the Unura Toho coming up, which is a Friday, which is pointing to a particular Friday.
Which I'm also wearing the toho, the Haida toho scarf.
Oh, this one. So the question was about, and the na, we have the na again.
Yes. So what to expect through the energies in that moment, which is, it's not just the 5th, it's a big moment.
Yeah, I feel like that, you know, the elephant is sharing that action of, you know, what you shared with me, that the elephant is actually taking in so much nutrients, and it's not actually taking it in for itself, but it's bringing it to a different place, pooping them out, and then something will grow. And this is almost like this feeling. It's almost like, okay, showing us that there's something going on where we don't fully see what is actually happening. So this feeling of, okay, we see the elephant eating a lot, but we are not aware of that the elephant is actually not taking these nutrients in for only itself, you know, but it's a service that the animal does to the land, and then therefore also to a lot of other beings. And the first thing that was shared here was Tona Toke Wahoahi, which speaks to the unconditional love. So that is connected with what is going on now and it's also sharing that Oku speaks to the descendants from the star, not the descendants, those that are from the essence of heaven. So it almost feels like that there is a different energy coming in, or being revealed, or showing up, which is actually from that heavenly divine like guidance, and it's showing up with protector's light, with protective energy. Phi speaks to the light shield of protection, or to the Phi. Phi is the aspect of within light that is shared for protection. Ri is also speaking about the seed of light. So it feels like that there is whatever is happening in the election is actually happening for the greater. It's really happening for the greater good. But even saying these words has a very weird taste, because we know that many people have done things for the greater good of humanity and have, done a lot of harm. But I don't feel that this is what it is. I feel like that we are invited to see, how can I put this? Yeah, it's really about this energy of getting your hands dirty. It's like we are invited to see that there are people out there, not only in the Americas, but the Americas or the USA are being looked upon like, or are a focus point, because there the whole show is really, it's quite out in the open, let's say. If you want to see it, you can see it. If you don't want to see it, you will not see it, but still it's your choice. But it's not only there, but it's in the whole world that there are many people, there are people in the political realm that do these things in order to have power, and that are not there for the highest intentions. And then there are some that actually, make their hands dirty for good reasons. And there is great opportunity to have these energies, like the protection, and also that descendants, or that, that how can I put it, like the view from the ones that are from heaven, like to have that higher view come into the circle, to come into the sacred circle, which in that moment it would mean to come onto the stage of the political theater, and to have those energies there, more present there, which is of course something that we would want to have protective protection, security, like secure energies. We would want to have that there more present. And Kaka also speaks to the communication. So there is something here where I feel that there will be a great shift in communication. And also Ga makes me reminds me of what is happening in the Middle East as we speak. So I feel that we can expect things to change there. I feel that in terms of that it could be that one or the other would make their hands dirty in order to relieve that conflict, which is of course a terrible thought. If we would think that this war wouldn't be just closing, but that it actually needs to stay flame up again in order for them to be put out, is a terrible thought, of course. Still, in the way that it is in the potentials, we are seeing here that the kawa comes up, where it is shared that this action, if that action would actually take place, but it is in the potentials, that would serve as a medicine, that it would serve as a reliever of the situation there. And I wonder what that Friday is about. It's interesting. So it feels like that there's something there happening, that something will happen on a Friday, and it's connected to the many. Maybe that is already showing us that there will be an action that is going to be taken on a Friday.
Looking at November, the 1st is on a Friday. It's the end of this week.
Yeah, maybe it's speaking to that. It's just, it's just something that I can feel like my eyes are being drawn to. Mm-hmm. And then also with this card, I've been, I'm not really into politics and stuff, so I don't really observe the news much, but I know that Elon Musk is now more involved in the politics, and this card made me think of him. Oku, for some reason, it made me think of him when I saw that card.
So 2 things that I can add into this. In New Zealand time, on Friday, the 22nd, is that MATARIKI alignment. Just putting that out there, because I was just looking to see what exactly was going on with the Fridays in November on my calendar. With the kaka, there are alignments with the motu to different stargates. So earlier I was sharing about Sirius A and Sirius B being the whale nation and the star nations. They have their connections with the motu. With November, Rehu, the dolphin, is the big energy, because that is the stargate connected with the butterfly, the motu of November. With the kaka, if memory serves, that is what is known as Orion, the Tau. I could be wrong.
Orion is not Tau.
I thought Orion was Tau.
No, Tau. Yes, not Tau. Tau.
Okay.
You mean T-A-U or T-A-W-U?
I'm not sure anymore.
T-A-U is Beta Centauri.
Okay.
And Tau is Orion, yes. Okay. But the Kaka is not aligned to the Orion, because the Orion is not part of the Hunascope. But still, the Kaka with the communication, that's like the axis that is depicted here, and we have the elephant in the center, and it feels like that the elephant is carrying in that unconditional love. It's carrying it in from Toke, which we call the North Star, which is always representation for the formless, for that which is felt but not seen. And Kaka is right now laying in the direction of Tona, which is representation for the physical. So the communication aspect is highlighted here, where we can expect a shift, a big shift in terms of the communication that we will then see after the election. The way how they speak to things and how they share things will change. So that's like the the most practical thing that I can take from this, because the other things are, it's like it all feels kind of foggy. It's like, it's interesting. It's almost like, yeah, I don't want to go too deep into it. That's the type of feeling that I have, but it's still beautiful to see that all of this is, or that this moment is in the potentials, showing a lot of opportunity for things to really become better in terms of the people, and how we will feel, or how especially the people in the United States will feel. Yeah, I hope that this is really gonna come through, especially this feeling of protection. Oh, I still have some cards here.
Where was that one card that wanted to wait?
That was the Toho, the Unura Toho.
Ah. Oh, so Hirimata is making a really good point that there's animals that represent the two parties.
Mm.
The one that represents the Republican Party is the elephant.
Oh, really?
And the donkey represents the Democrats.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like these still want to come through.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to share these.
There's the waka.
Yeah.
Waka waka.
It's actually sharing a lot about like kind of building something. La is the frequency of unity consciousness. So it shows us also that there will be a way to walk. Peke is like Peke is speaking to like almost like a joyous jumping way of like walking. It's like more uplifted, and it feels like that there is this way of walking with unity consciousness that wants to come through, and it's going to come through very quickly. Pu is like a very fast moving energy. It's almost like if you would imagine an arrow just shooting by. That type of energy, that type of tempo, that type of initiation. And it's interesting because we have the picture of the arrow, and then we have the Po, which is speaking to a pillar, to the energy of a pillar, and then we have the energy of the waka, which is the canoe, which feels to me like that there is something that wants to be built, because those are also like very physical, like structures that need to be placed, need to be built. But what does it really want to speak to us, or what does it really want to say to us is, with that upcoming moment, with that upcoming event, and with the outcome of that, and with the shift of communication that is going to take place, the effect that it will have on the community, on the civilization, on the land, is that shift in the way of being with one another. It's like that way of walking with one another is going to change, and it's going to initiate everyone to look at, okay, what is it that we want to build? How do we, what types of pillars do we want to build? Like how do we want them to be? And the same with the waka. It's almost also this feeling of, okay, how do we want to explore this? How do we want to move about this? Because the waka, the canoe, also stands always for exploration, like a explorer type of consciousness. So I feel that this is truly what is going to be like the effect on the people. And there's going to be a movement closer together into like unity consciousness in the community, And out of that, yeah, lots will grow, lots will be built. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, yeah, with the elephant, that's symbol for the Republican. Was the first card that I pulled, and I was surprised that I felt like I got to pull that particular deck, this one.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. Okay, I think that's good.
Yeah.
On this topic. Does anyone want to come on and ask a question? Otherwise, I feel like we are maybe just gonna wrap this up.
Yeah. It is getting to be that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Huna Flash is doing well. We miss him too.
Yes,
he's got to give us some matako so we can miss him. So when he comes back, it's even better.
Yeah. But it's good that, you know, him as well, you know, taking some time away is just tending to his own garden, let's say. And this is all up in the energies. So he's just giving us the example of,
yeah,
this is what you should maybe consider doing.
Yeah.
Xavier, you save your question. You can also ask it now. We still have a little bit of time. Oh, thank you, Hirimata.
Ty Jordan snuck in. Hi, Ty. I think that might be the only other person that's joined us since we started, or at least that's said hello. So we still got 40 some people in here.
Yeah, this is so beautiful. I'm so grateful that everyone hung out with us. This is incredible. Yeah. Beautiful. So I would just say
Let's call it.
Yeah, we leave it at that. And we see you
in a month
soon.
Oh.
And will be interesting to also have the opportunity to look back at what had happened during those weeks, to see what, you know, what came through and what actually happened. How did it play out?
Mm-hmm.
Exciting.
Yes. So I'll say this again with the lineup, since everything is different and we don't see Huna every week now. November 10th is the other new show with, we'll call it for now the Kahiwaha show, because we don't know the title. We don't know the title yet. She's out doing Po'ata right now, so she'll come watch the replay whenever she can. The November 17th is when Huna Flash is on with Huna Flash TV. That'll be his time slot. Is be sandwiched between the birds on a Sunday. And then we're back on November 27th to do our brief run through of what really happened with November and what do we see with December. Our websites are at the top of the description if you want to work directly with us. Get a wonderful reading with this one here, which I'm always going the opposite direction of where you are in some way. Yes, that's what I got.
Yes. Thank you again. Sending you so much blessings and wawa and mana, strength for the time ahead.
Yes. Wawa.
Wawa.